Capricorn, stop scrolling for a moment and just breathe. Something inside you told you to pause here, didn't it? That quiet inner voice, that strange pull, that feeling like this message found you on purpose. Listen, because it did. You are not here by chance. You are being guided towards something that your family, your friends, even your enemies won't believe when they see it. If you can hear me right now, don't just listen, claim this. Say in the comments, I receive it. Hit the like so this message locks into your timeline, because by doing that, you are saying to the universe, I am ready. Ready for the kind of wealth that makes history whisper your name. You've been waiting for something that you couldn't explain, a breakthrough that's been teasing your spirit. There were nights you lay awake, wondering why it felt like your blessings were circling you but never landing. Every time you got close, something fell apart. You almost gave up, didn't you? You almost accepted that maybe it wasn't your time. But Capricorn, the truth is, your time was never delayed. It was being prepared. The wealth that's about to enter your life isn't the kind that fades. It's the kind that rewrites bloodlines. You've walked through storms that would have destroyed others. You've smiled through pain, carried burdens in silence, and kept your faith even when no one clapped for you. People thought your silence meant defeat, but it was the stillness before revelation. You've been trained in obscurity because the level of abundance coming your way requires the kind of discipline only pain can teach. It's not just money that's about to enter your life. It's power, peace, and position. Let me tell you something that might shake you. The universe often hides its richest blessings inside the most broken seasons. And that's why you had to go through what you went through. When you were losing people, when opportunities fell apart, when your bank account didn't reflect your worth, that was the cleansing. That was divine preparation for a throne too heavy to share with the wrong company. Think about Joseph, the boy from the Bible who was sold by his own brothers. They thought they buried him in betrayal, but they were planting him for elevation. Joseph went from the pit to the palace, from slave to governor. He didn't chase wealth, wealth chased him because he carried divine order. Capricorn, you are in that Joseph season. You've been thrown away, forgotten, maybe even laughed at, but what they don't know is that while they were counting you out, God was counting your steps toward an unimaginable rise. You've always been the one who sees life differently. When others panic, you strategize. When others give up, you rebuild. There's a pattern in your pain. Every loss you've faced carried a secret lesson that molded your spiritual muscles. You've learned that peace isn't found in what you have, but in who you become while waiting. You've learned that the quiet moments, the rejections, and even the humiliations were divine coding for leadership. And isn't it funny how people love to disappear when you're struggling but reappear when the blessings start to show? There's a spiritual reason for that too. You were hidden to protect your harvest. You were invisible because your wealth was meant to surprise. It's like how Oprah Winfrey was once told she wasn't fit for television, that her voice didn't belong. They fired her from her first TV job. But instead of collapsing, she built her own platform, one that touched the world. The same rejection that tried to silence her became the echo that multiplied her influence. Do you feel that, Capricorn? That's your story too. Because your setbacks have been divine setups. You weren't being punished, you were being refined. Every time you thought, why me? The universe whispered, because you can handle what others can't. The weight of your calling has been heavy, but the reward attached to it will be generational. There are people in your bloodline who never knew freedom, never tasted wealth, never saw real abundance, but their prayers are stored in your spirit. You're not chasing wealth for yourself, you're fulfilling a prophecy for your lineage. And that's why it's been hard. That's why the delays felt personal, because what's being born through you has never existed before. You are breaking codes that were built to keep your family small. You are shattering patterns that limited your ancestors. And yes, it's lonely, but loneliness is the price of leadership. Remember, wealth isn't only about money, it's about dominion, the kind of peace that no chaos can interrupt, the kind of confidence that no enemy can shake. You've been fighting for clarity, for alignment, for direction, and now everything that was confusing will begin to make sense. Because, Capricorn, you were never meant to fit into average. You were meant to redefine what success looks like when it's earned through pain and patience. Think about J.K. Rowling, sitting in cafes, broke and jobless, scribbling the story of a boy wizard while the world ignored her. She was rejected 12 times by publishers, but when her book was finally accepted, it exploded into history. Her imagination built an empire that generations will study. That's the kind of reversal energy surrounding you now. The same doors that once closed are about to swing wide open, begging for your presence. You see, life has a strange rhythm. The universe never forgets the quiet achievers. Those who work in the dark are the ones destiny highlights in daylight. That's why you've been feeling restless, because your time in hiding is ending. You're about to be revealed in ways that will make even your doubters confused. There's a wealth frequency around you, and if you've been seeing repeating signs, numbers, dreams, random bursts of intuition, that's confirmation that something is aligning beyond your sight. Some of you have been feeling a shift in your energy, like you can sense change coming, but can't explain it. That's because your spiritual antenna has picked up the vibration of increase. But before wealth manifests, there's always one final test, the test of patience and belief. The universe will tempt you to quit just before the blessing lands. You'll face doubt, fear, and distractions. People may even mock you again. But this time, you'll feel something different. You'll notice you don't react like before. You've outgrown the noise. You've entered a space where peace is your weapon and silence is your strategy. Capricorn, your wealth isn't coming through luck. It's coming through law. The law of energy, of karma, of divine order. You've sown integrity when others chose shortcuts. You've helped people who never helped you back. You've stayed loyal when you had every reason to walk away. And the universe has recorded every act. The harvest doesn't forget the farmer. Let me tell you a story, one you might recognize. Elon Musk, before the world called him a billionaire, was sleeping on the floor of his office. He showered in the factory and borrowed money for rent. People called him crazy. They mocked his dreams. But those nights of isolation built resilience that no amount of money could buy. And when success finally came, it didn't trickle, it exploded. The same man who couldn't afford a bed became the one who builds empires that redefine humanity's future. That's the same pattern forming in your destiny right now. You may not have millions yet, but you've got the mindset that attracts it. You've got the discipline that sustains it, and you've got the favor that multiplies it. When energy shifts, it doesn't ask permission. It just moves. And right now, something is moving for you, silently, powerfully, and fast. You're about to witness a series of coincidences that aren't coincidences at all, a call from someone who owes you nothing but brings an opportunity, a payment you forgot about suddenly released, a business idea that seems random but changes your path forever. That's how destiny speaks when it's time, quietly, without warning. And while it's easy to think, this can't be for me, remember, the people who end up changing the world rarely see it coming. They just keep showing up, tired but faithful, uncertain but obedient. And that's been you, Capricorn. You've shown up every single time life tried to bury you. You've risen from ashes no one expected you to escape. And because of that, the universe owes you alignment. Do you feel that heartbeat in your chest? That's the pulse of something ancient, something divine waking up in you. It's the moment before everything shifts. You've been in your training ground. Now, the arena awaits. But let's be real, wealth doesn't arrive clean. It comes with responsibility, temptation, and tests. When your rise begins, you'll see people change. Some will applaud, some will pretend, some will plot. Don't let that scare you. It's proof that your vibration has upgraded. Light exposes shadows. And even in this, you're protected. Your enemies can't access your blessings because they were never part of your assignment. They were part of your awakening. You are walking into an era where your name will open doors your feet haven't even reached. Deals will find you. Ideas will flow like water. The same people who once ignored your message will replay your words in silence, wondering how you did it. But deep down, you'll know it wasn't magic. It was alignment. Do you understand how powerful this moment is? You've lived your entire life being prepared for this shift. Every heartbreak, every loss, every delay, every disappointment was the soil. And now, the harvest is breaking through. And I know what you're thinking, it sounds too good to be true. But that's what miracles always sound like before they arrive. They don't announce themselves, they just unfold. One day you're worrying about bills, and the next, your name is attached to opportunities that make you wonder, how did this happen so fast? Capricorn, there's one thing you must remember, don't chase money, chase alignment. When you align with purpose, wealth has no choice but to find you. It's attracted to clarity, to integrity, to peace. The moment you stop running after what's leaving and start protecting what's growing, everything begins to multiply. And yes, your rise will shock people. Some of your family members won't believe it's real. They'll think you did something strange to get it. But what you did was divine. You stayed faithful when others folded. You planted seeds in dry seasons. You believed when there was no evidence. That's the real miracle. You're not becoming wealthy to impress. You're becoming wealthy to fulfill. Your story will teach others that divine timing is never late, that rejection is protection, and that pain is just purpose in disguise. Even now, some of you are feeling chills, a deep sense of recognition like this message was written from your own life. That's because it was, energetically, spiritually, prophetically. The signs were always there, you just weren't ready to see them. But now, your eyes are opening. Something powerful is about to be released. You'll know it when you see it. And when it happens, don't question it, receive it, claim it, celebrate it, because this moment isn't a coincidence, it's confirmation. Capricorn, if you've been waiting for proof that your struggle meant something, this is it. Wealth is coming, not the kind you spend, the kind you become. You've been carrying the weight of your past like a secret no one could ever understand. The things you lost, the people who betrayed you, the moments that shattered your trust, all of it has been replaying in your head like a silent movie only you can hear. There were nights when you wanted to scream, but your silence became your strength. You stopped explaining yourself because you realized no one truly listened. You worked, you gave, you believed, and somehow it still felt like the universe was watching you bleed while everyone else got their blessings. But what you didn't see was that every delay, every heartbreak, was planting something powerful under your feet. You've been walking on buried gold, and the ground beneath you is about to open. Sometimes before your greatest breakthrough, life becomes strangely quiet. Have you noticed that? The calls slow down, the excitement fades, and suddenly it feels like everything's slipping through your fingers. That's not loss, that's alignment. The silence is where your angels rearrange things. They move people out. They close doors that would have trapped you later. That job you didn't get, that relationship that ended suddenly, that opportunity that vanished, they weren't failures. They were shields. I want you to remember this. Even gold has to go through fire before it shines. The universe was refining you through fire that others couldn't survive. You may not have seen it then, but each heartbreak was removing weakness from your spirit. You had to be made stronger because what's being placed in your hands will require balance, humility, and discipline. You're not being blessed with small things, you're being entrusted with legacy. Think about it, the strongest souls have the most broken pasts. David in the Bible wasn't born in a palace, he was born in a pasture. Everyone overlooked him, even his own father didn't call his name when the prophet came looking for a king. Yet it was him, the forgotten one, who was anointed. The crown was always his, even when he was fighting lions and bears alone in the field. You see, that's your story too. You've been fighting invisible battles. People think you're quiet, but they have no idea how many nights you had to wipe your tears in silence and still show up the next morning. There's a law that never fails. What's yours can't be taken, only delayed. And when it comes, it doesn't come as compensation, it comes as multiplication. All those moments you thought were wasted, all those years that slipped by while others seemed to get ahead, none of it was wasted. It was being recorded. Every time you stayed kind when you could have been cruel, every time you worked without recognition, every time you forgave and moved forward, those moments became currency in the spirit. And now, the interest on that spiritual investment is about to pay out in ways that will shake your reality. You've been through the shadow before the gold. The enemy wanted you to give up right at the edge of transformation. That's why the pressure has been unbearable lately. That's why people you trusted suddenly turned cold. But hear me, spiritual warfare always intensifies before the promise appears. What you're feeling isn't punishment, it's confirmation that you're about to step into something enormous. Do you know the story of Elon Musk? Before he became one of the richest men in the world, he was broke, sleeping on the floor of his office. He was ridiculed, rejected, and almost bankrupt. People laughed at his ideas, said they were too big, too impossible. But he didn't stop. He knew something they didn't, that you only fail when you surrender. His story mirrors the Capricorn path: struggle, sacrifice, silence, then sudden success that no one saw coming. You too have walked that same lonely road. You've had ideas others mocked, dreams they called impossible. But look closely, the same people who doubted you are starting to sense something different about you. They can't explain it, but they feel your energy changing. That's because your spirit already knows what your mind is catching up to. Your breakthrough is not coming, it's already here. When you were losing everything, heaven was testing your loyalty. Could you still trust even when it looked hopeless? Could you still give even when you had little left? You passed every silent test, Capricorn. You endured without applause, and that's what makes you chosen. You've got to understand, the richest people on earth often had the poorest beginnings. But it's not the struggle that defines them, it's their persistence through it. Think about Tyler Perry. He lived in his car, no money, no support. He performed plays for years to empty seats. He could have quit 1,000 times, but one day, out of nowhere, everything shifted. The right person saw his work, and that was it. His life changed forever. He went from sleeping in his car to owning one of the largest studios in the world. Do you think that happened by chance? No, that was divine timing meeting relentless faith. That's how wealth works for old souls like you. It doesn't come suddenly, it gathers quietly, like a storm building over still water. And then, one moment, one decision, one opportunity, everything changes. You've been asking, when will my turn come? But your turn didn't go missing. It's been waiting for your energy to match your destiny. You had to grow into the version of you who could hold what's about to arrive. Because the truth is, if the blessing came earlier, it would have crushed you. You were still healing, still learning who was real and who was. Now the stage is ready and you are unshakable. Every time you felt abandoned, the universe was forcing you into independence. Every time you felt betrayed, it was cutting emotional cords that could have drained your abundance. You lost friends, lovers, jobs, but you gained wisdom, and that wisdom is wealth. That's the kind of fortune no one can take away. You see, your energy is different now. You've reached a vibration where the things that used to hurt you can't touch you anymore. You're not chasing validation, you're attracting respect. You're not begging to be seen, you're being prepared to be recognized. Do you remember how Joseph's brothers once laughed as they sold him? Years later, they bowed before him, not knowing the one they betrayed became the one they needed. That's what's about to happen in your life. Those who spoke against you will need your wisdom. Those who overlooked you will need your signature. The very tables that once excluded you are being rebuilt with your name engraved in gold. I need you to prepare yourself, not just for financial wealth, but for emotional and spiritual power. Because the blessing that's coming carries responsibility. You're being positioned not just to prosper, but to heal generations. Your rise will inspire others who almost gave up. Your story will become the manual for how faith survives famine. The strange dreams you've been having, the chills that come when you hear certain words, the sense that something huge is close, those aren't coincidences. They're confirmations. The divine is whispering, get ready. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. Every time you step outside lately, the energy feels different, doesn't it? You feel like you're being watched, but not in a fearful way. It's like destiny is observing you, waiting for your next move. That's because it is. The universe is watching who you are when no one's looking. It's measuring your readiness by your reactions. Stay calm when chaos arises, because peace is the language of mastery. You've entered a sacred window in time, a moment that decides your legacy. This is where everything you've suffered begins to make sense. You are not behind, you are exactly on schedule. And here's what most people don't realize: the higher your calling, the deeper your suffering. Diamonds are formed under pressure. You've been compressed by life because you carry value that ordinary souls don't. And that's why no one understood your pain. They weren't meant to. They weren't built for it. Capricorn, you are the anchor of your bloodline, the one sent to correct what went wrong generations ago. And that's why you couldn't quit. Every time you wanted to give up, something inside refused. That wasn't stubbornness, that was ancestral strength rising in you. You were chosen to break the pattern of lack, fear, and silence. And now, that generational curse is cracking open like a shell around a pearl. You've probably noticed that some of the people who once had power over you no longer affect you. Their words don't sting anymore. Their silence doesn't shake you. That's because you've crossed into a higher vibration. You no longer feed on validation, you feed on purpose. And that's what makes you unstoppable. Let me share something with you. When J.K. Rowling wrote her first book, she was broke, heartbroken, and rejected over and over again. But she had something no rejection could kill's vision. She kept writing, even when the world said no. That's what you've done, Capricorn. You've kept creating, kept believing, kept building in silence. And now, like Rowling, your story is about to turn into a phenomenon. When you rise, it won't be slow. It'll be sudden, shocking, divine. The ones who doubted you will say, it happened overnight, but you'll know it took lifetimes of faith. But here's what no one tells you: the blessing also exposes truth. When you shine, the false ones scatter. When you win, envy awakens. Not everyone can handle your light, Capricorn. Some will pretend to cheer while quietly helping you fall. That's okay. Let them talk. Let them wonder. Because they'll never understand that your wealth isn't just money, it's mastery. Your wealth will begin inside you, in your peace, your confidence, your vision. Then it will manifest around you, in your work, your words, your world. It will look like opportunities chasing you, not the other way around. It will sound like your name being spoken in rooms you didn't enter. It will feel like balance, finally, after years of instability. When people ask, how did you do it? You won't even have words. Because truthfully, you didn't, it was done through you. You just stayed ready long enough for grace to find you. So here's what I need you to do. Take this message as a sign. Comment, I receive it, not for me, but to anchor this energy into your timeline. Like this message so it stays in your field of vibration. Share it so someone connected to you can rise too. That's how spiritual currency works. What you give multiplies back. You are standing in the hour where heaven and earth meet on your behalf. And soon, when it happens, you'll look back at all the pain and whisper, now I understand. Because everything you lost was leading you right here. And as the air around you begins to shift, and your old life starts to dissolve, something sacred is preparing to step forward, something no one in your family has ever seen before. Capricorn, listen to me very carefully. If this message has found you, it's not by accident. You are about to step into a season that will rewrite your family's story forever. There's a divine rearrangement happening in your life right now, and the signs have been showing, but you've been too tired, too disappointed, or too distracted to notice. Before I go deep into this revelation, I want you to do one thing for your own good. Pause this moment, breathe, and hit that follow, subscribe, and like button right now. Not for me, but because every time you engage with messages that speak life into you, you align your spirit with divine timing. This might sound simple, but that small act of faith, that small click, could be the very symbol that you are ready for what's coming. Because after this, things will never be the same for you. You've been seeing the number sequences, haven't you? You've been waking up at strange hours, feeling restless, like something is pulling your spirit toward a change you can't explain. You've been feeling a quiet urgency to separate yourself, to stop talking too much, to listen more. You've lost interest in things that once made you excited. That's not depression, Capricorn. That's transformation. That's your spiritual soil being overturned so the roots of the old can die and make room for the new. You're standing on sacred ground right now, but here's the secret: wealth is not just about money. It's about alignment. It's about being in the exact place where heaven's instruction meets your obedience. You've been wondering why it feels like you take one step forward and two steps back, why people you helped rise have now turned against you, why things that used to flow now feel stuck. The reason is simple: the universe is protecting you from a premature blessing. Because if you received everything you prayed for 6 months ago, you would have lost it due to the people around you. Let me tell you a story, a true one. There was a man named Chris Gardner. Maybe you know him from The Pursuit of Happiness. At one point, this man was homeless, sleeping in subway bathrooms with his little boy. The world looked at him and saw failure, but the divine saw foundation. See, Capricorn, you are like that, misunderstood while being rebuilt. Gardner never stopped showing up. He kept his vision alive even when life stripped him bare. When his opportunity finally came, it came suddenly, like a flood that couldn't be stopped. He didn't just gain wealth, he gained legacy. That's what's coming for you. Something inside you has been trying to awaken your hunger again. That fire, though buried under disappointment, still glows quietly. You've been saying, maybe it's too late. No, it's not too late. The time you thought you wasted was actually divine preparation. You needed the heartbreak, the delays, the loneliness, because they purified your discernment. God couldn't let you reach your next level while your circle was full of wrong hearts. Remember the story of Joseph? His brothers sold him, lied about him, and left him for dead. But every betrayal was a transportation. Each rejection was a relocation. He went from the pit to the prison to the palace. You've been feeling forgotten, Capricorn, but that's only because heaven is rehearsing your reveal. When Joseph's time came, he didn't have to explain himself. His position spoke for him. Your time is approaching that moment when your results will speak louder than your explanations. But here, where it gets strange, the next door won't open because you're chasing it. It'll open because you finally stopped forcing things. There's a divine reversal happening. Those who overlooked you will come looking for you. The ones who gossiped about you will have to watch you from the sidelines. And what you lost, peace, confidence, stability, it's coming back in a form that'll shock even you. You've always been different. Even as a child, you carried a quiet power. You could feel when something wasn't right. You could sense people's motives before they revealed them. You often didn't fit in, not because you were broken, but because you were built differently. Every Capricorn who's listening to this right now, your spirit has always been ancient. You don't crave what everyone else craves. You crave purpose. That's why material success alone never satisfied you. You were never meant to chase it. You were meant to attract it through purpose. Do you remember Oprah Winfrey's story? She was fired from her first TV job because they said she was unfit for television. Imagine that one of the most powerful women in media today was told she wasn't good enough for the thing she was born to do. But here's the thing, destiny doesn't need permission. When it's your time, rejection only serves as redirection. She didn't quit. She found her lane. And now, her name is synonymous with impact and abundance. Capricorn, the same pattern is unfolding in your life. The reason your plans have been blocked lately is because you've been trying to fit into spaces that can't hold the weight of your calling. You've been begging for acceptance from people who are secretly intimidated by your potential. You've been forcing yourself to stay humble when you were meant to rise. That's about to change. You're entering a season of boldness. You're going to wake up one morning and suddenly feel ready. The fears that once controlled you will start losing their grip. The people who doubted you will watch your name start appearing in places they never imagined. And when that moment comes, remember this, don't shrink, don't apologize for your growth, because you paid for it in pain, in silence, in sleepless nights where you questioned your worth. This blessing you're about to receive, you earned it through endurance. There's a real story of a woman named Sarah Breedlove, better known as Madam C.J. Walker, the first self-made female millionaire in America. She started with nothing. Her parents were slaves. She worked as a laundress for less than $1 a day. But when her hair began to fall out, she created her own hair products. People mocked her. They said, "Who do you think you are?" But she believed in her gift, and that belief became her legacy. She transformed her pain into purpose. Capricorn, that's your prophetic mirror. Your pain has been your formula. The thing that broke you is the same thing that will make you. Now listen, the reason I'm telling you these stories is because they echo your path. You've been moving through cycles that feel repetitive. You get close to breakthrough, then something pulls you back. You try to build momentum, and something delays you again. But what you don't see is that each setback was removing something that couldn't go with you. You were shedding energies of confusion, envy, and spiritual interference. The divine was editing your environment. You've been praying for success, but heaven has been preparing you for stewardship. Because if you can't manage a small door, how will you handle the palace gates? You needed to learn who you were when nothing worked, so that when everything starts working, you'll stay grounded. There's something sacred happening to your intuition right now. You've started dreaming more vividly. You've started feeling uneasy in old places. That's your soul whispering that new doors are forming. Don't ignore the signs. Don't silence your instincts. That feeling that something huge is about to happen, it's not imagination, it's confirmation. Capricorn, wealth is not chasing you anymore. It's orbiting you, waiting for you to align with your own power. You've been chosen to carry a generational blessing that your ancestors prayed for but never saw. That's why your battles have been so fierce. You are the bloodline breaker, the one meant to turn poverty into abundance, pain into wisdom, silence into legacy. But here's what you must understand: before the crown comes the cross. Before the reward comes the test. And this final test you're in right now, the one that feels unbearable, is not punishment. It's proof. Proof that you're ready. Proof that you can be trusted. You're being stretched because your blessing is bigger than your comfort zone. Your next season requires a new version of you, one that doesn't explain, doesn't beg, doesn't chase, one that simply knows. And that's where this message becomes prophetic, because right after this internal shift, an external door will open, a phone call, a message, an opportunity that seems random but feels divine. When it happens, don't hesitate, don't overthink, move. You've got to keep your vibration clean now. Surround yourself with silence, journal your thoughts, speak affirmations into your space, remove clutter, both physical and emotional, because wealth is attracted to clarity. If your mind is chaotic, your blessings can't land. I can sense some of you watching this have recently lost something important, a job, a relationship, a friend, or maybe your faith. But hear me, the loss wasn't the end. It was a cleansing. That thing didn't leave your life by accident. The universe had to clear the noise so you could hear the whisper. The whisper that says, you're about to walk into rooms you didn't even know existed. You're about to be offered opportunities that seem too big for you because they are meant to stretch you. You're about to prove every doubt wrong, not through revenge, but through elevation. Stay tuned in, Capricorn, because you're closer than you realize. Something is shifting even now. The tables are turning, and you won't have to announce it. The energy will speak for itself. Capricorn, I need you to focus. This moment is bigger than you imagine. Right now, you're standing at a threshold, and the air around you is vibrating with something powerful. There's a force moving unseen in your life, a tide that's pulling everything you thought was lost back into place. But before it arrives, before the reality of your next level manifests, there's something you must understand. What's about to hit your life isn't just chance. It's divinely orchestrated. The same way storms form in silence before a downpour, your breakthrough has been brewing in secret while the world thought you were dormant, inactive, or defeated. Every struggle you've endured, every person who underestimated you, every plan that fell apart, has been setting the stage for a revelation so powerful, so undeniable, that even those closest to you won't believe it's real. And yet, it will be. You've been waiting for a moment when doors open without you pushing, when opportunities arrive unannounced, when abundance flows so naturally that it feels like it was always meant for you. That moment is arriving, Capricorn, but it requires you to see things differently, to perceive your past not as failure, but as the foundation of a legacy. Remember, the most valuable soil produces the richest harvest after being turned and left to rest in silence. That's what your life has been, a preparation ground. Everything that seemed unfair, every injustice, every betrayal, every quiet humiliation, was the earth being tilled for the seed that would one day sprout into unshakable wealth and influence. You've endured in ways that others cannot imagine. You've been patient, even when impatience gnawed at your spirit. You've been loyal when loyalty wasn't reciprocated. You've been disciplined when temptation whispered in your ear. These virtues you cultivated quietly, away from the eyes of the world, are what will set you apart now. You are not entering this season alone. Spiritual forces are converging in alignment with your efforts. You are being elevated, even while it feels like nothing has changed. You are already in motion. Your destiny has already begun reshaping itself around you. Think about the story of Steve Jobs. He was fired from the very company he created, publicly humiliated, and told he would never succeed again in the technology world. Yet, in the midst of that rejection, he created Pixar and NXT. He waited, silently building, learning, and planning. When he returned to Apple, the world didn't just welcome him back. It witnessed a revolution that redefined an entire industry. That's the type of divine strategy at work in your life, Capricorn. You've been removed from situations, overlooked, and even dismissed, but those very moments were positioning you to return stronger, wiser, and unstoppable. You must understand something crucial. The abundance approaching you will challenge every assumption you have about how life works. It will not arrive in ways you expect. It will arrive through people you didn't anticipate, in situations you thought were unrelated, and through doors you never dared to knock on. You may receive sudden financial windfalls, partnerships, or opportunities that feel almost too good to be true, but that's because they are. The universe always delivers at a frequency beyond comprehension, and because your energy is now aligned, you will recognize these signs and act with precision. You are being trusted with more than wealth. You are being entrusted with the blueprint for your legacy. Consider the journey of Sarah Blakely, founder of Spanx. She had no background in business, no investors, no clear roadmap. Yet she believed in her idea, invested her own small savings, and persevered through ridicule and repeated rejections. Today, she is a billionaire. Her breakthrough came not because she followed the crowd, but because she trusted her vision and refused to be discouraged by temporary setbacks. Capricorn, this is exactly the principle applying to your life now. The trials you endured were not your undoing. They were the workshop refining your genius. You may have noticed a peculiar shift lately. The people who were toxic, who drained you, who doubted you, they are disappearing. Not by your action, but by design. Your energy is too refined for certain presences. The universe is clearing your path. And simultaneously, the right people, those who will elevate, inspire, and empower you, are being drawn closer. You are entering a magnetized phase where alignment attracts alignment, and doors that were previously locked swing open effortlessly. There's a divine pattern in how wealth and favor manifest. It rarely comes all at once. It begins subtly, a call, a message, a sudden connection, a small breakthrough, and then it escalates rapidly. Those moments that feel coincidental are actually prophetic. You'll start seeing synchronicities, meetings with the right people at the right time, money appearing unexpectedly, doors opening where none existed before. These are not random. They are confirmations that your alignment has triggered the flow of abundance. Remember Joseph, who endured betrayal, slavery, and imprisonment only to rise to a position of unimaginable influence. His brother's deception and society's rejection were never the end of his story. They were the preparation for a divine reveal. Capricorn, the parallels to your life are undeniable. The hardships you've faced were never to destroy you. They were to define you, to position you for the kind of rise that only happens once in a generation. The breakthrough approaching you is multi-layered. It's not just financial. It's relational, it's spiritual, it's emotional. Every area that felt stagnant or blocked is being activated simultaneously. The love, the respect, the influence, the stability, it's all converging. And while some of this may feel sudden, it's the natural outcome of years of unseen labor, quiet endurance, and faith that refused to waver even when circumstances looked bleak. Consider Howard Schultz of Starbucks. He grew up in poverty, witnessed his father's struggles with unemployment, and faced rejection repeatedly while trying to pitch his vision. He persevered, believing in the potential of his dream when no one else did. Today, Starbucks is a global empire, and Schultz is not just wealthy but influential in ways that shape culture. Capricorn, your perseverance, your patience, your willingness to endure what others would not is about to deliver you to a similar apex. Your energy is being calibrated to receive a level of abundance you've never known. The universe is removing distractions, clearing obstacles, and fine-tuning your circumstances. Those who tried to deceive or harm you will find themselves powerless, watching from the sidelines as your life escalates. The people and resources meant for your blessing are moving toward you. You are being positioned to take what's yours, not by chance, not by coincidence, but by divine orchestration. And now the final layer, the one that changes everything, is this. Your breakthrough carries generational significance. The wealth, influence, and recognition you are about to experience are not solely for you. They are the fulfillment of prayers and sacrifices that your ancestors could not see completed. The doors opening for you, the opportunities landing in your path, the people who will now take notice, all of it reverberates beyond your personal story. This is why the wait was so intense, the struggle so exhausting. Your rise is not just a personal victory, it is the rewriting of your family legacy. Prepare yourself for a revelation that feels miraculous because, in essence, it is. The energy that has been stagnant in your life is now mobilizing. People who doubted you, underestimated you, or laughed at your dreams will not only witness your success, but will have no explanation for it. The blessing that arrives will exceed your imagination, align perfectly with your purpose, and propel you into a level of influence, power, and wealth that has been waiting silently for years. Capricorn, the stage is set. The instruments are tuned. The final players are taking their positions. And as you step forward, the sequence of events you've been praying for will unfold in a way that seems impossible until you experience it. The silence before this moment has been preparation. The obstacles have been refinement. The waiting has been the calibration of your destiny. And now, without warning, the culmination of every struggle, every prayer, Every sacrifice is about to manifest in a way that will leave even the most skeptical witnesses in awe. The universe is ready to release your breakthrough. Everything you've been believing for, hoping for, and quietly working toward is aligning. Your timing is perfect. Your rise is imminent. And while you may feel anticipation, the full magnitude of what is about to happen is beyond anything you can predict. The signs are everywhere, in coincidences, in sudden clarity, in unexpected meetings, in unplanned financial openings. Your destiny is moving silently, powerfully, and irrevocably toward you. It's here, Capricorn. The threshold of your miracle is at your feet. The doors are about to open, the flow is about to accelerate, and the universe is preparing to place in your hands the wealth, influence, and legacy you have long awaited. What happens next will confirm everything you've endured, everything you've sacrificed, and everything you've believed, in a way that not only transforms your life, but also alters the course of those around you. The energy is charged, the alignment is perfect, and the moment of revelation is upon you, ready to unfold without warning, beyond explanation, and in a way that will leave the world and your closest circle speechless. Your breakthrough is no longer distant, it is imminent, and the revelation of your life, the one that validates every tear, every sleepless night, every silent prayer, is about to arrive in a way that defies expectation. All that is left is for you to receive it, to step into it, and to recognize that the universe has been orchestrating this moment with meticulous precision. The rise, the wealth, the power, the validation, it is all converging now, silently, prophetically, and irrevocably, as your moment approaches with unstoppable force.